Hello to everybody and welcome to the Friday Video Blab. And you'll see we have another wonderful guest this week who's going to be joining me to talk about all things virtual meetings and virtual summits. And if you don't know what they are, well, if you're a speaker or you want to learn how to do this and how to do this more and in even much more better ways, as we always say here, I'd like to introduce you to the wonderful Wendy Kier.
Hello. Hello.
Now, Wendy, you and I actually met last year when you very kindly, thank you very much, invited me to come on to one of your virtual summits, one of the first ones I think that you organised, which is where you get together groups of experts, speakers, who can actually, you then created a series. So there was a different speaker every day. And I know that you've done week-long ones. I know you've done 14-day. I know you've done over a period of weeks and having a speaker a week for these virtual summits that you organise for people. And I know, I'm just reading this because I love this from Wendy's LinkedIn page. She's the author of 95 Ways to Grow a Quality, Responsive and Engaged Email List. She's been in Social Media Today. She's the member of the Association of Business Site Physiology. She's been nominated for a Women Inspiring Women Award in Digital Marketing. She's the host of the List Building Challenge. We'll find out more about that as well. And the Get Clients Online Tele Summit. And she's an all-round digital diva. That's what I love the most, Wendy. All-round digital diva.
I agree. I completely agree. All the rest is just window dressing.
So tell us, Wendy, tell us a little bit about yourself first, and then we'll get into what virtual summits are and how they actually work.
Yeah, so I started out in the land of virtual summits. I'm wondering how much I'm echoing. I can hear myself echoing. How's the sound, blabbers?
Well, that sounds fine for me, Wendy. I've just turned you down because it may be echoing from my end.
Not good, echoing. Okay, excuse me, I'm getting a little bit close and comfortable. I'm sure this is an absolute no-no in, let's do that.
As long as we can see your face, that's the important thing. If you
I probably won't be able to
turn your sound down, Wendy, then hopefully it won't echo quite so much.
Yeah, so I've turned it down. I started out, like most people do, going on to the professional speaker circuit. And I pushed myself and I pushed myself to try and conquer my fears, because everybody was saying, you know, you must speak live. It's the best thing you can possibly do. And that you just have to fight your fear and do it anyway. So I tried to bite the bullet, did all the training, went to the Professional Speaking Association, went to Toastmasters, got private tuition, and I was asked to speak at quite a big event. And what happened was I had a panic attack the night before, and it was really, really bad to such a degree that I absolutely thought I was going completely bonkers. And I ended up sleeping in the bath for the night and not doing the talk the next day because I was just completely overwhelmed. So I discovered virtual summits by somebody I was connected to in the States, and that's really how I fell into them. I still wanted to speak. I still wanted to reach a lot of people, but there's something within me that doesn't allow me to speak on the stage. And I came to the decision that really, after that panic attack, that I just shouldn't do it. I needed to find a different way to reach a lot of people, but not from speaking live on a stage, because it's just not my thing.
So literally, was it because I know we've spoken about this before, it was that panic attack was so debilitating for you, so then with the birth obviously and the growth of online access and the amazing tools that we've actually got access to now as well, it must have been in the last couple of years or so, must have been that this is suddenly a safe haven for you. But I know, to start off with, that you were a little bit tentative about getting yourself on camera and putting your face forward, because you used to do a lot of audio recordings.
Yeah.
That's how you started.
Yeah, I started doing MP3s, didn't I?
Yeah.
It was MP3s. You still wouldn't see my face. I'd still very much hide from people. This summit I'm doing, I've got coming up, is all going to be done on screen, and it's going to be done as we're done now, with split screen. Maybe I'll have a better, you can show me how to do a better position, because this one isn't really working.
Well, again, Wendy, as what we were chatting about beforehand, when we did the setup beforehand, is at the moment you're actually looking at yourself on screen or watching me when I'm talking, which is our natural preference and natural habit. But what you actually need to do when you're on Blab, especially, is actually talk to the camera and through the camera, thinking that there's the person on the other side.
Yeah, it's weird.
So that we've actually then we get your eye contact. Because if you look at me now, if I look down at you, or if I look down to do the messages, which I have to do, because you need to do that in Blab to stay engaged with all of your viewers. When I do that, it actually breaks the eye contact.
Yeah,
you need to think of talking and through. And is this an issue that you've found with a number of your presenters when you are running virtual summits? Is there like a habit that you've seen presenters who are great speakers on stage but may not be so comfortable on camera?
Yeah, you get different levels of confidence. It really varies. It really varies as to how people feel comfortable. The other thing with summits is that you have to be mindful of as well is that you can only be responsible for your own setup. You can't be responsible for the other speaker's setup. And I'm sure you've come across this as well, like you have with me. This isn't perfect. So,
but again, in this scenario, perfect. Blab is far more forgiving because this is a live interaction with people, and people can connect and type comments. And please, as I said, put your questions in, tweet out to a little bird, and share with your friends on Facebook that we're here today. But because this is quite forgiving, and because it is more of an informal chat here on Blab. Whereas I think from the sounds of things, I'd like you actually to answer the question, what is a virtual summit, in a minute. But I think that's more, to my mind, would be a more formal setup than Blab. Or are you hoping to keep them quite informal and quite fluid? So tell us what they are and tell us what you actually do and how you run them.
I personally prefer them really informal. Not too much pressure on people, not too polished. I think the problem is that to get things, 100% perfect, you'd have to invest a lot of time, a lot of money, and virtual summits can be quite organic in nature. So if you start enforcing that in that environment, it almost becomes very clinical. So personally, I would like to see the quirkiness of a virtual summit, because then I believe it engages people on a much more personal level. Yeah. But it depends on the business. If you've got a big corporate organization, they're going to want to polish it. Whereas if you've got someone who's reaching out to a community that is quite engaging and quite active, and it doesn't need to be so polished, then you don't want to remove that quirkiness of the environment that is organic and natural, rather than clinically. It's been altered and bits have been taken out, and I'm really into being in the moment.
So you're when you run a virtual summit, you're running them a bit like a Blab is really. It's an ongoing conversation, or do you actually take a lot of time to edit pieces and put pieces together, or is it that fluid chat?
Fluid chats. Okay. It's fluid chat, but it's very structured. So what is a virtual summit, and why should we be doing them for our business, whether that's in business or as speakers or whatever it is that we're doing? Yeah, so a virtual summit, Lottie, is, as you said at the beginning, it's really, think of it like going to a conference. So you'd book in to go to a conference for a couple of days, and you go and see a mixture of different speakers. The difference is with a conference is you'd have to pick the speakers that you want to see. In the virtual space, you get access to everybody. So it's similar to a conference, apart from all the speakers are in a virtual place, so you can connect with each one individually online. And what I mean by a virtual space is, on Facebook, on blabs, through Twitter chats, through the actual live webinar if people are doing live. So it's very similar to
are most of these pre-recorded, or are they actually going out live?
Well, it depends on the host. It depends on how confident the host is and who they're interviewing. Personally, I think you should do a mixture of both. I think you should have, and the reason why I say both is to bring your own stress levels down and to bring the stress levels down of the people that you're interviewing, because they'll have stress around the interview as well.
Just to clarify there, Wendy, so this is when you are hosting your own virtual summits, rather like we're doing now.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to create so tell us, do you, when you run your virtual summits, I know, as I said, you get one speaker, then another speaker, and another speaker, and another speaker. But for people who actually, you can help people create their own series of virtual summits, can you?
Oh, yeah. So I host my own virtual summits.
And how do you find your speakers, Wendy?
And I also teach people how to bring their own virtual summits together. And we've just started a new service where we create, all the expert would need to do is just turn up and do the interview. So we take all of the hassle out of people creating the environments and what it is they need to, or the organisation that goes with bringing together a summit.
Right. And how do you find your speakers to do that?
Okay, well, I always start with the people that I like. I always think it's a good starting point. People who I'm connected to, people who I like, people who influence the people that I want to get in front of. So it's people who I listen to and I watch who are interested in the same topics around the virtual summit. And that's how I initially start. Right. And then I ask for recommendations for other speakers. And then by that point, I got most of my speakers on board.
And so do you kind of survey and test your clients? Because obviously when you're hosting them, you're needing to serve your clients. So do you ask them what they need and what tips, business help and tips they need? And then you go off and find the people to interview, a bit like I do with the blabs.
I do it the other way around, sort of. I have an idea. To me, a virtual summit is a bit like creating a magazine. You want to give the summit a flavour of different topics. So the next summit I'm doing is all around speaking, and each speaker is speaking on their own niche of speaking. So you get a different variety and a different flavour of topics and expertise. But I do it the other way around, in the sense that when people come into the summit, I ask the questions once they've signed in for the summit. Okay. I get a really high response rate when I do it that way. If I leave it until after the summit, I don't even get 50% response rate. So as soon as people opt in, ask the questionnaire because they're highly engaged, and then you can find out what the gaps are, and then you can go back to your speakers and ask them to potentially fill in those gaps, or you can identify what's missing and you can fill them in yourself. Right. So I do it that way.
Okay. And then so kind of hopefully does everybody kind of now understand what a virtual summit actually is? If you can just type a 1 in, that yes, you get now what a virtual summit is. Because the next question I want to ask is why should we be doing them? Okay, great. We've had a couple of ones there. Thank you very much, Rob Jones, and thank you very much from John at Toastmasters, and Camilla. Thank you very much. Yeah. So why should we be doing them?
Sorry, I was just saying I love Toastmasters.
Oh yeah. But John's actually in the Professional Speaking Association as well. He's just started his speaking business as a LinkedIn connector, and LinkedIn helping people to use LinkedIn to broaden their networks. So he's a great networker and a new speaker too. But yes, so why should, now we understand what they are, why should we be doing them for our business, and how can they be income generating for us as business people?
Okay, so online there's a lot of noise. It's really hard to stand out unless you've got a very solid brand and you're very well known. So positioning yourself in the marketplace online can be quite a challenge, because it's just, I mean, yeah, business is competitive anyway, but online it's even more noisier. So what virtual summits enable you to do is really claim that space around a specific topic Plus, they're low cost to organise. They hardly cost anything in comparison to, if you were holding a 3-day conference, you'd have to spend 6 months plus planning it. You'd have to pay for venue. You'd have to pay, there's a whole load of complications with doing live stuff. Whereas a virtual summit is very cheap to set up. Historically, it wouldn't have been because we didn't have access to the tools we've got today, which are pretty cheap, really, in comparison. And we also get that credibility and endorsement by the speakers that we're connected to. So we create this whole movement around that expertise that we want to be known for. And when I say movement, we can actually create live communities very, very quickly hosting a virtual summit, which otherwise people can spend thousands of pounds and possibly never create them before. But in terms of how to monetize a virtual summit, an example of the one that I'm currently hosting is...
Oh, there goes phone. There you go. Another on-camera no-no.
Note to self, turn off phone.
Turn off phones. So what was the name? What was the name of the recent one that you're creating, Wendy? And I'll go and have a hunt for it. And
there's nothing up yet. Just a very simple landing page, but it's boost your business speaking online.
Boost your business speaking online.
Boost your business speaking online. And so where the money comes in from. Now, historically, Lottie, that I haven't charged my speakers to join the summit, but because unfortunately not everybody has marketed the summit that said they would, I now charge a lower price entry fee for speakers, which is £150 to join the summit. Now, what I've also done is the summits are no longer free. So there's a small entry point price to come into the summit, and the speakers get that money back. So if the leads come in from their list, the speakers get that money back. So they have the potential to, depending on how many people come in through their affiliate link, they'll get that money back anyway. So for me, it's about ensuring that people are going to do what they said they're going to do.
Right. Okay. And Wendy, can I just check that this is the correct link that I've popped in here in the messages there for you? Because earlier I popped in your Udemy course earlier on. So
I don't know what that is.
The Udemy course is the step-by-step guide to doing virtual summits.
Yeah, they can get it on Udemy. It's there. Or they can get it off my website, one of the two.
Yeah, and I'll pop in your website here as well. So while I'm typing,
they are. The main course is over a period of 8 weeks, so that's not on Udemy. The ones that are on Udemy are an introduction to.
Yeah, I thought for people who've never even heard.
Yeah, no, they're perfect.
It's worth having a look at, definitely.
So let me just come back to monetizing, so people are clear. Right, so you've got the money, you've got a point of entry for, 2 places of sales to come in at the beginning. You've then got sponsorship you can get for the summit as well. So another avenue of income. But also summits, I think, should really be used to move people into a product or a service that you're going to offer off the back end of the summit. So for me, it's how to create a virtual summit. And for other people, it will be a different program. So the whole summit is themed around what you're going to lead people into off the back end of the summit. So it's a very quick and fast way to position a particular product or service with a summit, because you get that massive leverage and boost that I don't know you can get from any, I can't think of any other way you can get it online other than doing it that way with a very small I don't know why I'm digging, a very small marketing budget.
A very small room.
What that is. Shallow pockets.
Right.
Yes.
So the key benefits then that I'm hearing from you is, first of all, it's when you set them up for yourself. So that's the intro course that I've posted up in the links. So the key benefit is that a virtual summit can position you as the expert, a virtual summit is a quick way to organize your own and connect yourself with other speakers, is also another way of growing your tribe, growing your community. And I think also connecting with like-minded people as well. I know that a lot of people, when I joined you on the first one, the other speakers there, it's a really nice way of, as you said, being part and parcel, being seen as being part of that group, a network of fantastic speakers, and that you're positioned there yourself. So I suppose the first step for people would be to get in touch with you and see if they can get involved in one of your virtual summits. But then for yourselves as business people later to organise, what's the difference then? Because it partly sounds like quite a lot of work to organise a virtual summit for yourself. What's the difference in doing the virtual summit and doing something like this on Blab?
You don't get the leverage. You don't get that burst of marketing from everybody over a couple of weeks, So you only get the leverage from me.
So you can actually do a virtual summit on your own, just go on every day for the 2 weeks or the 10 days, however long you're doing it, or is it better to interview other people?
It's not set in stone. Different people will have, it depends on how, if you're new and you want to get out there, I would suggest that you take your time with the virtual summit and you build more of a community. But, I've got one person and her office manager setting up a virtual summit at the moment. They've got an established network, so they can go straight into, well, actually, there's a fee for you to join the summit. So it depends on how well established you are as a business and how big a community you've got to be able to, do you need to spend more time building trust and credibility, or can you go straight into, right, here's the offer, this is how much it is. So it really depends on where the business is coming from. There's no set formula. This is the beauty about online. You can take out the bits that you want to do and then add in the bits that you want to do. They're not set in stone. You can play with them. But I think for your first summit, whatever you do, is just keep it simple.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And actually, the Cyber Mum is saying here in the comments here, lots of people have actually already used Blabs for virtual summits.
Yeah.
So I suppose if you don't have if you want to be less formal with it, I suppose, less structured with it, then this is potentially a good place to start. Get yourself practiced to being on camera and that you're comfortable to be doing this. And then you can invest the time. And if you've got, obviously it sounds like if you've got somebody else to help you, so connect in with other people who can actually do this together. It doesn't have to be you on your own organising this. And then connect in with Wendy as well.
Yeah, the whole thing is about leverage with a summit. Yeah, it's about it's that community. It's that we're not very, us English aren't very good at it. The whole, what's it called? Collaboration. It's the whole collaboration between a group of people that gives an event a special edge. That if it's like me and you today, I'll mark it out. But then we've got the leverage of the 2 of us, but not 20 of us. Yeah. So and then obviously with everybody who jumps in and who comes to watch us and who comes to join us, with people messaging out and tweeting out and sharing it as well. That's how the community grows, basically. Yeah. That's how it grows. Well, look, Wendy, I can't believe it. It's nearly 2 o'clock. So does anybody have any questions for Wendy before we finish up? The time has just gone, but hopefully that's given you answer of what a virtual summit is, why you need to do them, and how they work. That was the key aim for today. If there's no questions, Wendy, what would you say then for people who have never really done this kind of thing before? What is your number one tip? I know you've said keep it easy, but it's what you said, Lottie. It's what you said. You've just got to give it a go. It doesn't matter if you make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. Look at my camera. You don't even want to see the stand that it's on because it's highly amusing.
Actually, everybody, don't tell everybody. But Wendy showed me before we started. She showed me her camera stand. It's a stack of loo rolls. Brilliant. I think it's absolutely genius. I'm always saying to people, it's creative.
My camera stand.
I think it's brilliant.
Toilet roll.
That's big claps for that one. Yeah, give Wendy the props. Give the claps to Wendy for that one. Oh, we have a question here from John at Toastmasters. Is Wendy coming to PSA Ireland future? That's the Professional Speaking Association, our Ireland region meeting in the near future. You're heading over Ireland way, Wendy. Can we convince you?
I could do, as long as I don't have to speak from the stage, I'll be all right.
Well, what we might be able to do is maybe later in the year when we do some more virtual chats, because I like to every now and again mix in some of the live speakers and some of the virtual. Maybe we could do a 10-minute virtual session with you.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
As a tip specifically for professional speakers with the group in the audience, it would be great to kind of see with your top few tips of the what, the why, the how, and the few key tips would be brilliant.
Oh, hang on. Right. We missed the question. Right. What should people do that have never done it before? This is what I would do. I would find somebody who you've been following for a while that you like and you're interested in, reach out to them and ask them if you can have a chat on Blab. And then what I would do is I would ask them for the name of their talk, so you know what it is, what you're going to have the conversation around, and then just ask them to give you 5 questions. So what will happen is you can have that conversation, you've got the questions, so what you do is you just listen to the feedback from the questions, and then you ask the next question, you listen to the feedback, and then you ask the next question. So then you've got a formula if you're feeling unconfident for that conversation. You can make mistakes, don't worry about it. No one will ever know anyway, but that's what I would do, Lottie.
Brilliant. I think that's a fantastic tip there. And thank you, Mel from Grow Potential. She's saying, Wendy, we'd love a virtual appearance at PSA Scotland too, and that you've sparked some ideas. So
I love you all.
We're getting your virtual summiting happening all across the country.
We could have a virtual summit Ireland, Scotland.
We should do. Actually, that would be a good one. We haven't done that for a while. And a few thank yous and shout outs to Mwenya. I was actually just talking to Mwenya. She's a medical doctor turned entrepreneur, writer, award-winning public speaker. Wendy and I were just chatting because she's looking to do some videos herself coming up soon, because she does a lot of promotions for speaking in Africa and business, helping small businesses and businesses grow across Africa and
virtual
in Africa, which is fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so good on you, Mwenya. And I'm going to. Everybody, you can see people's names at the top. You can follow people here in Lab, and if you click on the little Tweety bird, that means you'll get taken out to Twitter, and then you can follow people on Twitter, which I've just done with Mwenya. And oh my gosh, Mwenya, I love your Twitter banner. That's gorgeous, with rhinoceroses and lovely sunsets. That's my kind of Twitter banner there. So thanks, Mwenya, to you, to John, to Mel, to Rob for staying with us, and also to Camilla and everybody else who's jumped in here today. Thank you very much. And most of all, thank you very much to you, the wonderful Wendy Kier, for joining us.
Gorgeous. It's finally nice to connect after all this time.
Exactly. We've been kind of, Wendy and I keep missing each other. We keep, like, things are up or things are down. We keep missing out on each other. So we'll definitely connect, and I'll have to chat with you about coming on your next your next virtual summit. Because actually, the other thing I saw, you have a fantastic, just before we go, you have a wonderful Facebook group. So I'm just going to post that in here. Very long link for your Facebook group.
Is it? Oh,
looks
sorry.
like it. Maybe. Oh no, there we go. It's a group. It's a shorter one here. I had the wrong link there. So if I post the Facebook group in there, Wendy, can people join you in the virtual Facebook private group?
Cool. Yep.
Okay, fantastic. Well, everybody can jump in and join us in there. And thank you so much. Zayed has just jumped in here, but we're just finishing up, Zayed, I'm afraid. So that's it for this week's Friday Video Blab. And next week, ladies and gents, we actually have a very special Video Blab, because hopefully you can join us at some point during the day, because I'm going to be blabbing live from the Dublin Chamber of Commerce actual summit, their Momentum.
Oh, awesome.
So it's going to be live in the Aviva Stadium. I did a little fun Facebook video on a Facebook Live video testing out how strong my new mobile phone with the G4 wasn't good enough. It cut me off halfway through. But we're going to be doing some live blabs from there. I'm still deciding whether to stick one blab up and go all day from 8:30 in the morning, and then have interviews with the speakers during the breaks and lunchtime and afternoon breaks. And for any rugby fans, I'm going to see if I can get Paul O'Connell. He's one of the most famous Irish rugby players. He's the giant one, if you're a rugby fan, that used to be the number 5. I think it was number 5. So I'm going to see if I can nab him, maybe, fingers crossed. And there's a couple of the Gaelic Games players as well who are going to be there. So I'm still deciding whether to do. What would you say, Wendy? If I'm live at an event, would you say run a summit all day and then pop up a sign saying back at 11:30 or something? Or would you say it's better to do a series of different events?
If you're at a live event, it'll just be organic, won't it? I would do the be back at.
Well, in that case then, folks, I put the link there for the Momentum Summit. I'll be posting the link up to the Blab for next Friday, for the Friday Video Blab, all connected with the Dublin Chamber of Commerce. So hopefully you can join us at some point during the day, or if you're live here in Dublin, see you at the Momentum Summit, the Dublin Chamber. And Wendy, I will see you very soon on a virtual summit, and we can have another chat another time. And thank you.
Yeah, take care, gorgeous. And thanks everybody for the mentions and all the love. I beat you. I got 268.
Yay, big props, big props. Yeah, but you're meant to get more props because you're the person who's doing the speaking. You're the guest.
It's all you.
It's not about me. It's all about you. Oh, but thank you very much for everybody giving. Oh, that's you, Wendy. All right. Well, that's it, guys. Thank you very much for joining us on this week's Friday Video Blab. And see you same time, same place next week. Bye.